Hi, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to Tips for the Transition. I'm María Tomás-Keegan, your host. I continue my journey of exploring stories with the authors of the new book, From Resilience to Brilliance. I'm inspired by this collection of stories by women who share how they moved through tragedy to triumph, from survival to thrival. That's my new word. My guest is Cindy Martel-Brown, whose story is called Born to Rise. Cindy can remember feeling real fear as early as age 5. And fear has tried to daunt her throughout her life, even up to now, as she wrote the chapter for this book. I think it's important for us to talk about the fears that can derail us if we let them. So welcome to Tips for the Transition, Cindy. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So let's get right into it. Please tell us your story of fear.
Well, there are in my life many stories that I have that go along with being fearful and what I do personally to get through those things and overcome and grow and just really walk through that experience. My most recent fear experience was I was talking to my sister, my older sister, and I was just like, I'm missing something in my life. There's something that I'm missing. I can't figure out what it is. And we just kept talking. And then through her and I going back and forth, it just hit me like a ton of bricks that I was missing creativity in my life. In high school, I used to paint with acrylic paints, and everyone told me how great I was. And so I was like, you know what? I need to figure out how to bring that portion, or I figured out that I was missing that in my life. So my oldest daughter, who is 19, she's going to college and she's almost wrapping up her associate's degree. So I spoke with her and she's like, Mom, we should do a class together. And I've never been to college ever. And I never really wanted to go to college. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can take an art class to get me in, kind of get me, a teacher instructing me. Maybe, I didn't really know what to expect or what to think. So I decided to do my first college class ever with my daughter, which was comforting in itself because it would be new to me. She'd already been doing it, and it was something that I could do with her. So I signed up and go to class, and we walk in and the teacher says, welcome to art history. I thought I was going to be partaking in an art class where I'd be painting and, the canvas and all of that, and come to find out it's art history. So I'm like, Zyra, my daughter Zyra, and she was like, oh, I didn't know either. So I don't know why we both didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But to make a long story short, we got through that class and it was educational. I was learning. I was in the environment of being around college people, and I was just truly inspired. Not to, get any sort of a degree, but this could be my tool to maybe try other things. So my second class, it was the next semester. It was the spring semester. I signed up for a class by myself. So that was, she wanted to do another class with me, but I decided to do one all by myself. So I signed up for, I just was talking to my sister again, and I said, I've always been, have a love for photography. And she says, well, there it is. It's as simple as that. You're supposed to do a photography class. So I enrolled in the class. I showed up, and, I started, just getting used to being in class. And then the teacher starts dishing out assignments. And after the first one, it was just a, photography assignment. And then the second one was he wanted us to write a paper. And my whole life, I've just rejected it and rejected it and rejected it. and just always told myself, my little secret that I'm sharing today is that I've told myself that I'm not a great writer, that I'm horrible at it. Everybody else is so beautiful at it and great at it. And my husband is just Mr. English person. He writes beautiful papers that are really well-rounded. And anyhow, the teacher stands up in class and says that we're going to be writing this paper. And I'm thinking, I'm taking an elective class. Why am I supposed to be writing a paper? Like, why do I have to do this? And he was just talking, and I was just really trying everything not to have to do this paper in my mind, shooting myself down, telling me how I wasn't so great at it. Anyhow, I just accepted the challenge. I went home and started, opened up, a Word document, and I started just typing about the assignment. And crazy enough, it was easy, and it almost is easier for me now to be able to type than it is to honestly speak. I feel that it is. I don't know if it is or isn't. So I finished my paper up, and my husband had been checking on me about my paper. And as I was wrapping up the final touches in my paper, my husband walked out, and he says, you're just finishing up your homework right now in classes today? And I said, no, I was just printing it out. And he says, well, how about you let me read it? And I said, no, that's okay. I'm good. It's fine, because I feel like if he were to read my writing, that, he would, I don't know, just tell me what I needed to fix, and it's not so great, and let me help you out. So I was just trying to keep it to myself. If anything, I'll share it with the teacher. He can give me a D, and I'll move on, make up for my grades some other way. My husband persisted to read my paper, and I handed it over to him, and he's standing there and he's reading it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he's going to realize after us being together all this time that I am a horrible writer. He's going to see it. He's going to realize it. He's going to tell me. And he looked at me and he said, babe, that's really good. And I was like, oh, you're not telling me the truth. I'm like, no way. Are you kidding me? You must be joking me right now. And he said, no, it's really good. And you don't need to fix a thing. And I was like, oh my goodness. All these years I have been torturing myself in my own mind. No one's known this but myself, as I talk to myself and tell myself these things about these things that I cannot do. And then all of a sudden, my husband reading my paper made it be all okay, that I can do this. I am good at this. And it was just his words, and I decided to share with him what I'm kind of telling you, is that I have kept the secret forever. And he just was like, no way. Really? You've been doing that to yourself? It just gave me an opportunity or a moment that it hit me, that made me realize that I had been talking to myself like this for all these years.
Yeah. Oh, Cindy, you are not the only one for sure who has let fear block her from being great. And I love this story because there are so many moments that were aha moments for you. The beating yourself up for so long that you really didn't need to do that. When you sat down to write the paper, it wasn't as hard as you had imagined it would be. And when your husband saw it, he gave you a gift of freedom, freeing yourself of all those, that tape you were playing inside your head for so long. So I want to thank you so much for being so transparent and open about sharing that story of fear right up until recently. So thank you for that. And you touched on some of the emotions that you were experiencing. And I want to go into those a little bit deeper in tomorrow's segment. So we're going to hear about those emotions that came up for Cindy and how she dealt with them so she could finally put fear in place. So I'm María Tomás-Keegan. Till next time.